confiscated money to prop up one business over another. That's pretty much what Adolf Hitler did with Volkswagen. I mean, that's fascism. And I don't believe in that. But I take it even a step further. No, everybody should be exempt. Personally, I don't think there should be any form of involuntary taxation because I know theft is immoral. And it doesn't matter to me if it's a bureaucrat that works for the state, and I don't mean state as in state of South Carolina, I mean the apparatus of government. It doesn't matter if it's a bureaucrat that works for the state or just some common person. Theft is immoral. So I would prefer voluntary forms of taxation like lotteries. That's how we built the Erie Canal. That's how Harvard was built, was through lotteries. And also, in my utopia, in Cortopia, the size of government would be so small you wouldn't really need that much money to run it. So I'm very much opposed to exceptions, but I'm also very much opposed to the tax to begin with.
Ron Paul doesn't seem to be making a play to make people like him. So why is he so appealing to the population?
Because he stands for what's right, and he doesn't back down from it. He doesn't make excuses for it. He doesn't apologize. And he's not about all the other politicians. It doesn't matter whether it's left or right. That's another thing. Don't buy into the left-right thing. That's a kind of a ploy to keep you occupied, fighting amongst yourselves to a large degree. It's about whether you want freedom or dictatorship. And so many of the other people that run for office, all they care about is getting elected. They'll change what they believe over time if it means it gets them elected. Ron Paul, in a time where things are headed south real quickly and everybody's feeling the direct effects from it, people want something that's more rock solid and doesn't waver. So I don't know. One of the problems with Ron Paul is he talks above the typical person's head, and a lot of people just don't care, and that's fine. I don't expect people. I don't want to force anybody to do anything. A lot of people just don't care enough to get in deep enough to learn about things like fiat currency and what the Federal Reserve is and things like that. So he loses people for that reason. But he stands by his principles. He doesn't. So you look at the left or the Democratic side of things, and they say we want freedom of speech, we want freedom of religion, we want legalized drugs. But you can't smoke, you can't eat bad foods, you have to go to a government-controlled indoctrination system called school, public school, sorry. But they want to control you for other reasons. And then on the right, they say, well, we want freedom of speech, but we want you to have to subscribe to Christianity. Or we want to have the Patriot Act and tell you that we can run all over your liberty and with no bounds because we call you a name. We say you're a terrorist, therefore I can do whatever I want to you. It's insane to me. It doesn't work that way. So both sides, they all want to eliminate your freedom, just for different reasons. And I say they're both wrong. I just want freedom. For me, for you, for everyone else. I just want to be left alone. I want the right to be left alone and not harm anyone. And that's what it comes down to.
Is there ever a time that a government is justified in enforcing moral values like don't kill, don't rape, and don't steal? If so, when?
Well, that's not a moral value. Don't rape, don't kill, don't steal. That's a right to private property. That's where government has the right to intervene, just like I have the right to defend myself. If you're trying to aggress against my property, which is if you rape me, if you steal from me, if you kill me, you have denied me some level of right to self-ownership. And therefore I have the right to defend myself, and I have the right to contract with someone else to have them defend me. But don't think that that's what we have now, because we don't. If someone steals your car, and they take it out and go joyride with it and demolish it, then the police come in, they investigate, they find out who it is, they pick them up. Well, the district attorney prosecutes them, and it's the state versus car thief. If they find that person guilty, then they go to jail. And what happens with me? I paid for the cops. I paid for the district attorney. I paid for the room and board of the criminal, and I had to buy the insurance to refund me, to pay for my vehicle to get damaged, pay for my vehicle to get repaired. Seems like I'm kind of the one getting it stuck to me in that situation, and not criminal. In a more libertarian-oriented society, you would never have this concept of the state versus anyone. If you steal my car, I catch you, it's me versus you. If you're found guilty, you got to make me whole. Period. So we don't even have a situation that defends our private property rights as it is. But it's not about a moral judgment. It's about the right to private property. If you don't have the right to aggress against me and my property, period. And that's where I can allow someone to step in. But it doesn't even have to be the state. It could be third-party arbitration. It could be an elder. It could be whatever. I mean, there's so many different ways that it can be implemented. I don't propose to know. I mean, I do have opinions, but we have to get out of thinking that the only mediator, the only solution is the state. But it's really not a moral thing as much as private property.
My name's Sean. Are libertarians vegetarians? Wouldn't that be the ultimate in letting every life form pursue its own happiness? For example, pigs, cows, chickens, they're all life forms.
Libertarians are more often than not individualists. And you have, in a way, getting libertarians to agree on anything is kind of like herding cats. Because libertarians are so much individualists that there's a lot that we don't agree on. The only thing we agree on is being an individual. When it comes to other life, that's under natural law. There is no animal out there that really owns itself, that has the conscious ability that we know of to claim self-ownership. The reason why we are able to is because we can conceptualize the idea, because we're more advanced beings. So that's where it ends up being a situation where I can own a pig or a cow or whatever, and it becomes more my property than it does a life. But if you want to look at it as not property, as a life, that therefore you won't aggress upon, then that's your choice. You're going to starve really quickly, because you can expand that to plants too. And plants are alive too. And for all we maybe they're conscious. We don't know. But that's your choice. If you want to starve yourself, that's your choice. I'm not going to stand in your way.
What do you think is the minimal level of voter participation that should be tolerated in our society? Should people demonstrate the understanding for our system before voting?
I think that in my situation, if we have limited government votes, wouldn't matter so much. I think the minimum amount of voter participation it should be zero. I mean, I hope that maybe if we didn't show up and vote, they wouldn't get put in office, and they'd be leaving us alone. I mean, it's anything that requires that is a form of an indentured servitude. Just like compulsory jury service. There's not really any other private industry that can force you, put you in jail if you don't show up and participate for whatever wage they set. That's indentured servitude. So to tell somebody that you have to show up here on this day and do that, that's a form of indentured servitude, and I don't believe in it. If you don't want to participate, don't participate. I think that the government should be so small that it doesn't matter if we participate or not. The only reason why there's such a push to participate is because each side wants to control the government so they can determine what is forced upon them and what is not.